Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to play the Campfire Medley by 21 Pilots on ukulele. Now, if you've never heard of this before, it's this really cool mashup of songs that 21 Pilots performed live, and the reason why it's called the Campfire Medley is because they literally sat at a campfire in the middle of their set. So it was kind of this really cool experience of these amazing songs. Now, if you're looking for a specific section that you need extra help with, or even just that play along at the very end, feel free to look in the description below for the quick links. Also below, I included a lead sheet for you to follow along to. And hey, if you find this video useful at all, I would encourage you to please subscribe. It helps me out and helps others know about 21 Pilots, so that would be greatly appreciated. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so as you can probably tell by the length of this tutorial, it has a lot of different sections. There are actually 8 songs used in this medley. So I understand it can be a little intimidating, but honestly, after learning all these songs and just really practicing them, I can tell you it's super worth it and just a lot of fun to play along to. So how this tutorial is going to work is I'm going to start off by showing you all the fingerings for all the chords used in the song and then break down each section, each song, one song at a time. And of course, as I mentioned before, at the very end, have a full playthrough where you're able to play along and see all those chords with me. So starting off with these chord progressions, we have F sharp minor. So what we're going to do is place our third finger on the second fret of the second string, our first finger on the first fret of the third string, and then our second finger on the second fret of the fourth string. And it sounds like this. Then we have F major, in which we place our first finger on the first fret of the second string and our second finger on the second fret of the fourth string. And it sounds like this. Then we have F sharp major. So for this one, we're going to place our second finger on the first fret of the first string, our third finger on the second fret of the second string, and our first finger on the first fret of the third string. And then with our thumb, we're actually going to damp that fourth string. So it sounds like this. Then we have G major. So for this one, it's very similar to that F sharp major chord that we played. And we place our second finger on the second fret of the first string, our third finger on the third fret of the second string, and our first finger on the second fret of the third string. And it sounds like this. Then we have D major, in which we place our third finger on the second fret of the second string, our second finger on the second fret of the third string, and our first finger on the second fret of the fourth string. And it sounds like this. Then there's D minor, in which we place our first finger on the first fret of the second string, our third finger on the second fret of the third string, and then our second finger on the second fret of the fourth string. So it sounds like this. Then we have A minor, which is really easy. All we're going to do is place our second finger on the second fret of the fourth string, and it sounds like this. Then we have A major, in which we place our first finger on the first fret of the third string, and then the second finger on the second fret of the fourth string, and it sounds like this. Then there's E major, in which we place our first finger on the second fret of the first string, and then our third finger on the fourth fret of the third string. And then with our thumb, we're going to damp that fourth string, and it sounds like this. Then there's E flat major, in which we place our first finger on the first fret of the first string, our third finger on the third fret of the second string, and then our second finger on the third fret of the third string. And it sounds like this. Then there's B minor, in which we place our third finger on the second fret of the first string, our second finger on the second fret of the second string, and then our first finger on the second fret of the third string, and then with our thumb, just damp that fourth string. And then there's B7, in which we place our second finger on the second fret of the second string, our third finger on the third fret of the third string, and our fourth finger on the fourth fret of the fourth string. And it sounds like this. Then there's B flat major, in which we place our second finger on the first fret of the first string, our first finger on the first fret of the second string, and then our third finger on the second fret of the third string. And then we place our thumb damping the fourth string. So it sounds like this. Then with B flat minor, we place our third finger on the first fret of the first string, our second finger on the first fret of the second string, and our first finger on the first fret of the third string. And then we place our thumb damping the fourth string, like this. Then there's C major, which is super easy. All we're gonna do is place our third finger on the third fret of the first string, and it sounds like this. And last but not least, we have C sharp major. So for this chord, we are going to be doing a bar chord. So we place our first finger on all the strings of the first fret like this. And then with our fourth finger, what we're gonna do is place that on the fourth fret. So it sounds like this. All right, so now time to move on to the chord progressions. So again, I'm breaking this down into each song. So starting with the first song, we have Formidable. Now with Formidable, there is the chorus and the verse. So the chorus progression goes F sharp minor, D major, A major, and E major. Now the verse goes B minor, F sharp minor, A minor, and then B7. Now the strumming pattern that we're going to use for this song is down, down, up, up, down, up. So here's what that sounds like with the chorus. And here's the strumming pattern for the verse. Now the next song that we have is Doubt, and the chord progression we use is B minor, D major, F sharp minor, and E major. Now this song shares the same strumming pattern as Formidable, so down, down, up, down, up. So here's how that sounds with that chord progression. Next song we have is Tearin' My Heart, and this song has 4 sections. So starting off with the first, which is the verse, we have the chord progression D, F sharp, G, and then it does that 3 times, and then it goes to an A major chord. Now the verse is played with straight down strokes until we get to that A major chord where we play down, down, up, down, up. So here's how that sounds. So the next part is the chorus, in which we play G major, and then A major, B minor, A major, D major, then A major, and then D major again. And this one's super easy because all we're doing again is just straight downstrokes. So here's how that sounds. Next up we have the bridge. So the chord progression goes D, F sharp major, G major, and then back to D. And it does that a few times until we get to that A, where we kind of just vamp that A. Now again, for this one, all we're going to be doing is straight downstrokes. But the thing to really pay attention to is when we move on to the next chord. So here's how that sounds. And finally, with this song, we have the transition. So at the very end of it, it does this really cool transition, but it uses these different chords. So here are the chords that we're going to be using. We have A major, G, A, and G. And then it goes to E flat major, and then B flat major, and then C major. Now all of this is done with that same down, down, up, down, up strumming pattern. So here's how that sounds. Now the next song that we play is I Can See Clearly Now, and this is probably one of my favorite songs that is played in this medley, but it's really cool because we're actually going to be doing some finger picking with this. Now if you've never done finger picking before, trust me, it's not that hard, and after some practice it becomes really easy and just natural and just really fun to play. So with finger picking, we are honestly only using our 3 bottom strings of our ukulele. So we have our thumb on the 3rd string, our index finger on the 2nd string, and our middle finger on the 1st string there. Now when we play, our thumb is always going to be going down, and our index finger and middle finger are always going to be going up. So if you want to practice that a little bit, what you can do is play the 3 strings going from 3, 2 to 1, and just repeat that. So go down with your thumb, up with your index finger, and up with your middle finger, just on those open chords. Now for this song, the pattern is pretty simple. All we're going to do is go down with our thumb first, and then up with our index finger and middle finger at the same time, like that. Now the syncopation sounds like this. So if we do that same exact thing, go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, but add some chords to it. We have our song. So the chord progression is actually the chord progression for the chorus. So we have B flat major, F major, and C major. Now it's kind of interesting because since we are finger picking and really only using these 3 bottom strings, we really don't have to pay attention to this 4th string. And when we play B flat major, we don't have to mute that 4th string. And when we play F major, we really don't have to play that 4th string. So again, here's how the chorus sounds when we play that finger picking. Now, if you're wondering how it is that these notes are so short and very kind of staccato sounding, it's because whenever I play something, I put these fingers back on the string. So instead of letting them ring out, I just let them go back on the strings to make them kind of short. So that's just a stylistic thing. You don't have to do it like that. But if you're interested in how that is done, that's how I do it. Now, the next section of the song is the verse. So the chord progression goes C major, F major, and then back to C, and then it goes C, F, G, and then again we have C, F, and C. So here's how that sounds with that finger picking pattern. The next song we have is My Girl, or as Tyler says, Josh Dunn. So the chord progression for this song goes C, F, C, F. And we honestly repeat that a bunch of times until we get to the chorus. Now for this first section, which is the verse where we go back from C to F, we are continuing that finger picking pattern. So really it just sounds like this. have the chorus, which goes C, F, F, G, C, F, F, G, and then we hold on that C, and then we go to F, and then G. So the strumming pattern for this song goes down, down, up for the most part, but then of course we have that hold, and at the very end we go down, down, just like that. So here's how that sounds. Now the next song we have is Home, and this song has two different sections. One which is the verse and chorus, which has the same progression, and then this kind of instrumental section at the very end. So starting off with that first verse and chorus, we have the progression A minor, C, C, and then F. Now the strumming pattern for this is going to go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, just on repeat, just going down and up. So here's how that sounds when we add that strumming pattern. And then after that, there is this instrumental section. So the chord progression goes like this: D minor, C, and G, and we hear that 3 times. And then it goes to A minor, G, and C, F, and then finally G. Now the syncopation of when these chords are played is a little tricky, but we're going to be playing all of them on a downstroke. And if you want to kind of just like strum through them with your thumb, that works too. But I'll kind of sing that horn part so that you can understand exactly where these chords go. So here it goes. Da, 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 da. Now the second to last song that we have is House of Gold. So this one's kind of interesting because it starts off with just a C major chord, and it's not really even a chord because all we're playing is that one C. So how we get this sound is we basically just mute all the other strings. So the top strings are muted, but that first string is still ringing out, right? So what we're going to do is with our first, second, and third finger, we kind of just gently lay those on the top 3 strings, but then with our fourth finger, we put that on the 3rd fret of the first string, and we hold that down while we kind of don't press really hard with the other strings. So here's what this kind of sounds like when we strum it. It should kind of have a hitting sound with it because everything else is muted, except for that first string. So here's how it sounds. Now how we strum this first section is simply just going down and up on repeat, but it's really fast, so it's kind of hard to get used to, but when you get into the groove of it, you can really feel how this goes. So here's how that sounds. And then finally, when that verse repeats, we go into a chord progression. So we have C major, F major, C major, and then G. And then it goes, same thing, C, F, C, G, and then goes back to C again. Now the strumming pattern for that goes down, down, up, down, up. So here's how that sounds when we add that all together. And And then we have the chorus and transition section, which I kind of included together. So this goes F major, A major, D minor, B flat minor, F major, C, and then back to F, and then transition section goes C and A major. So with the same strumming pattern as before, here's how that sounds. And last but not least, we have the song We Don't Believe What's on TV, which is a very cool ending to this medley. So we have the chord progression starting off with F sharp minor, then E major, and then A major. So that strumming pattern is going to continue on from House of Gold. So we have that down, down, up, down, up. So here's how that sounds. Then we have the pre-chorus, which goes B minor, F sharp minor, A major, and then we have B minor again, D major, and then E major. So again, with that strumming pattern, here's what that sounds like. And then we slow things down with the chorus by going to C sharp major. So this one is kind of an interesting one. You don't see it very often, but we have C major, D, A, and then E. And that just repeats. Now the first half of the chorus, we're just gonna do downstrokes, but on the repeat, we're going to do down, down, up, down, up. So here's how that sounds. And then to end things off, there's this really long hold, and then we see the chord progression that we saw in the verse. So we have F sharp minor, E major, and then A. And then it goes, yeah, 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 and that's how it ends. And that, my friends, is how to play the entire Campfire medley. Now, I know that was a lot of songs to get through, and if you're kind of still intimidated by it, still kind of struggling with a few different areas, definitely practice that before trying to play through the whole song. So with that, I'm actually going to play the entire song with you so that you can play along and see all the chord progressions together.
But gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. All of the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. I've got sunshine on a cloudy day. When it's cold outside here in Mexico, well, I guess you could say, what can make me feel this way? Just talking about Josh, it's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Alabama, Arkansas, love my morning fall, not the same way that I love you.
And that, my friends, is how to play the entire Campfire Medley by 21 Pilots on ukulele. Now, if you made it this far and were able to play the entire song or most of the entire song, that means you're super dedicated to learning ukulele. And if you're that kind of person, or if you're just kind of interested in learning it once in a while, I would definitely encourage you to subscribe. I try to post as many ukulele tutorials as possible. And of course, if you have any suggestions for songs that you'd like to hear next, definitely comment below. And of course, if you have any comments or anything you need extra help with, feel free to comment below and I'll try to help as best as I can. But thank you guys so very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.